This is the final chapter of the Chronicles of playing the bass, jazz, early rock and roll, blues, early soul, and to funk and electric bass. And obviously I've been talking about how the simple bass line, Sam Cooke's bass line, turns into super funk. A lot more people playing music, and the beat is changing, it's evolving. And in the last video we were looking at what's commonly now known as the Motown sound. So obviously in America there were a lot of musicians, and they couldn't all just start playing the Motown sound, so they had to look for their own type of sound. And if you think about some of the early guys in that era, you think of Bobby Womack, who influenced the Rolling Stones, and then there's Otis Redding, James Brown, and the Isley brothers. Jimi Hendrix was in the Isley brothers. These guys were starting to generate a new type of feeling in the music. So this is a bass line that I made up, kind of thing, in that type of feel. And this is like a soul type feeling. So you can imagine like people like Otis Redding and James Brown, they'd be playing in that type of feel perhaps, you know, in this new type of soul feel. And even in the west coast of America, when you think of the Beach Boys, you know, they were in the 50s and they were sort of like going like this. Help me Rhonda, help me Rhonda, help me Rhonda, help me Rhonda. And the Beach Boys, they were around in the mid-60s, and they were moving with the times, and some of the English and European bands were influencing America. And wish they all could be California girls. And when you think about the Caribbean, the West Indies and Jamaica, they were using the same bass line, even though, you know, if you look at it in another way, that's like country and western, but the people in the West Indies, in Jamaica and that, they were putting this type of touch to it. Don't call me Scarface, my name is Kapow. C-A-P-O-N-E, Kapow. Little after that, you know, they ganja man come along and see, drink up the rum and you'll find man in their clothes. So music's changing all over the world with pop music. Some of the jazz guys have gone back to playing jazz. Some of the rock and roll guys have branched off to do their own thing. Some people are jumping onto the pop bandwagon and joining in because it was a new thing at the time. And this brings us into the second part of this particular chapter, where we look at someone like James Brown.